I know most of your responses already. In fact, I guess anything positive would be somewhat surprising, but here goes. And there's a reason for this because I had no idea he had had the job as long as he's had it. I had no idea where he was starting to rank, and I don't think people are going to like it much. Where do you rank Dak Prescott all time among Cowboys quarterbacks? And yes, there's a reason for bringing it up. Where would you put him? Okay, now weed out the obscure guys through the years. And so when I say, and most people say, all-time Cowboys quarterbacks, that list is not any longer than this. And where would you put Dak Prescott? There's Troy Aikman, there's Roger Staubach, there's Tony Romo, there's Danny White. I think you have to put him in there. And then there's Dak Prescott. And yeah, he's going to end up on this list. So where would you put him? Take it further. Where do you rank Dak Prescott among quarterbacks in the NFC East right now? I said NFC East right now. He's not last. I know he gets blamed for a lot, but he's not the worst in the NFC East. All right, then you have to take it further and say, well, gosh, where would you rank him among quarterbacks in the entire NFC? That list would include, any combination, maybe not even in this order, but pretty close. Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts. Does he crack the top five? Does Dak Prescott crack the top five in the entire NFC? So there's the start. He is, and when I say polarizing, it's just on the football part, but Dak Prescott is one of the most polarizing players in terms of your reaction of anybody in the NFL. He's not polarizing at all in his personality. There's no way anyone could say that. There's nothing he ever says that isn't perfectly politically correct, perfectly in support of his organization. The guy is shockingly boring. He has to be. Look where he works. But he is one of the most polarizing players there is, I think. Feel free to disagree. But he's calm. He's measured. And as anybody in the sport, really, as a personality. He's the NFL's least controversial player in terms of personality. But I think he's one of the most polarizing players in the sport. I mean, everything bad about that happens with Dallas, everything that goes wrong, it's him, no matter what. But I'd argue the opinions on him have probably the biggest range. Most of them are negative. I'm one of the few people that seems to defend him sometimes, but most of it's negative. The range of opinions on him are about among the biggest in the league, I think. You blame him for everything, okay? Constantly. You act like he was in on the Kennedy assassination. That's just who he's been. So here he is, and there's the reason why to bring it up. Here he is, fresh off the biggest contract in the league, biggest of all time. Here he is, again, right after another injury. He missed 9 games this past season, but he is about to join. If you're a Cowboys face painter, I think you're going to hate it, but he is about to join an elite list. You'll be shocked. Here it goes. Dak Prescott is entering his 10th season. This is from ESPN. His 10th season as the Cowboys quarterback. Are you ready for it? Only Troy Aikman has had a longer run at the position in franchise history. Aikman and Roger Staubach are the only 2 quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys. Prescott turns 32 next month. He said this. And again, you're going to laugh, you're going to rip him, you're going to make fun of him. What else do you expect him to say? He says this, of course I want to win a championship. He's talking about his legacy now. I don't know. That's why I ask all those questions. What is his legacy? If everything stopped now, what is it? Like, where would he be in that list? I mean, he's going to have the position as long as anybody other than Aikman Where is he on that list? What is his legacy exactly? Because he was asked about his legacy. He says, the legacy, the things, whatever comes after I finish playing will take care of itself. I want to win a championship. Be damned if it's just for my legacy or if it's for this team, for my personal being, for my sanity. Yeah, the legacy will take care of itself. I have to stay where my feet are. That is perfect Dak Prescott corporate speak. He's been in the playoffs 5 times, just so you know. He's been in the playoffs 5 times. They had the best record in the conference one time. That was his rookie year of 2016. He's played on Wild Card Weekend the other 4 times, but has never made it to an NFC Championship game. His playoff record is 2-5, and that's what you hold over him, right? That's the legacy for most of you, correct? He was, and people forget this, I actually thought he should have won, but he was runner-up for the MVP in 2023. That's the year Dallas went 12-5 for the 3rd straight year. But he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy, and his playoff record is 2-5. He says, quote, a lot of really good things have me in a great place. I'm healthy. I'm as excited as hell. And he's really, really rich. I don't know how many kids he has now, but their grandkids never have to worry about money. So let's do this. Since he's out talking about his legacy, he was asked about it. He gave a nondescript answer. He's never going to give you anything but a nondescript answer. He is, as I like to say, his face for Employee of the Month is all over whatever wall is there in Dallas. He's the Employee of the Month every single month. If he ever wanted to throw his owner under the bus, he could do it, except now he's super rich. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't operate that way. He just says practically nothing and just keeps going to work. But I think we have to do a few, let's say this is Dak Prescott-centric buy or sell. Because he's brought up his legacy. He's now talking about his legacy. He's now saying, I'm in a great place. We're in a great place. His coach has dropped the Super Bowl words already, which is kind of laughable by itself, but, here we are. I'm going to end up defending a little more than what you want, but let's see how this plays out. Okay, let's do the buy or sell centric version of Dak Prescott. Buy or sell?
Buy or freaking sell.
There's that thing. He's the 3rd best quarterback in Cowboys history. Let it sink in. I mean, the list isn't that long. I mean, really. You had 2 guys that won a championship. He's now, next to Aikman, the longest tenured quarterback in the franchise history. People don't remember Roger Staubach worked his way in and out of the lineup at times, but then was driven out of the game fairly early. Then you got Tony Romo, same kind of story, injured all the time. Danny White, none of you remember him. But they're a really good team during that time, and he sort of kept it between the lines. Other than that, it's it. I mean, that's it. It's been nobody. So where does he rank? Is he 3rd? Is he 3rd? Buy or sell?
Buy or freaking sell.
Things taking a long time. He's the 2nd best quarterback in the NFC East. Be careful. He's the 2nd best quarterback in the NFC East. He's not the last. Okay, that's impossible. That's the Giants. Whatever they do is the worst. So don't do that. He's 2nd best? That's saying a lot these days. Buy or sell?
Buy or freaking sell.
Well, it got faster. He's in the top he's in the top 5 of the entire NFC. I'm not saying 1, not even saying 3. I'm just saying he's in the top 5 at quarterback in the entire NFC. Okay? Buy or sell?
Buy or freaking sell.
This one's interesting. He finishes his career in Dallas having not played in the NFC Championship game. Now that probably is what started this conversation with reporters about his legacy. And, he rolled with it. He's never a guy that's going to snap back at you and stuff like that. But does he finish his career? Having not played in an NFC Championship game? He's 32, but he's 32 and has the biggest contract in the sport's history. So do you think, buy or sell, he never plays in the NFC Championship game? Think that one through. Now, all right, so let me work through this. He's not the third best, in my opinion. So let me answer some of these. You can feel free to disagree. I don't think he's the third best quarterback, Cowboys quarterback ever. I don't. I think that's probably Tony Romo right now. That's what I think. But I don't think Dak Prescott is that far off. I think when healthy, Dak Prescott is, when healthy, I think he's better than Tony Romo, when healthy. I don't think you can put him in the top two. That would be kind of crack. But I don't think he's that far off. Dak Prescott can be third on this list with a couple of playoff runs. Now, the problem is it's just not set up well for him. He's the second, I would say this, he's the second of that list of Cowboys legends, of guys that have played the position a long time that mattered. He's probably the second or third best passer. I think he's probably the second best passer, pure passer of anybody on that list of Cowboys quarterbacks. When healthy, the guy's I'm going to say it, the guy's a great passer when healthy. That's the issue. So I'm going to probably put him higher on any of these lists than most of you. I think he's probably the third best quarterback in the NFC East right now. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. That's pretty good company. Because that means he's with Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott. And I know you'd say, well, but Jaden Daniels is brand new, but the guy is absolutely off the charts dynamic. I don't know how much of what he did a year ago he can keep up, but I still think he's maybe the best quarterback in the NFC East. But either way, Dak Prescott can't be ahead, in my opinion, can't be ahead of either Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels. I don't think so. Not right now. Not the way he's, not as unhealthy as he's been. Here's the problem, though, with Dak Prescott and trying to come up with this legacy. He's 32 and hurt often. He's an athletic guy, but you get the feeling he's like on that trajectory of Tony Romo where stuff just starts breaking down. In the end, Tony Romo was, I don't even know what he was when he finished, 34, looking and moving like he was 74. Dak Prescott says he's not there, but the data keeps saying just the opposite. He seems to be there. He's 32. He's hurt all the time. And then the bigger problem is there's not enough around him in the short term to get to an NFC Championship game. You could talk about Dak Prescott. I could say, if you stuck him healthy with a lot of other rosters, we're talking about a great passer. You're probably talking about a top 10 quarterback. There's not enough around him in Dallas. They can't get to an NFC Championship game with what they have now. I don't care if he's healthy and plays incredibly well the whole year. I'm not sure this is enough. Best case scenario, right? If you want to paint your face and you're a Cowboys fan, best case scenario is over the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm still not sure this is enough to get him to a championship game, because I don't think his legacy changes at all. I don't think people see the career of Dak Prescott without getting to that championship game, which is fairly low bar if you're a legendary franchise, sooner or later. But I don't think they get there, but unless best case scenario, he has 2 healthy receivers for the next 2 to 3 years. That's saying a lot, but he's got 2 really good receivers now. It's an offensive line with 2 to 3 young players, 2 of whom were taken in the first round. So let's just assume best case scenario, that works out. They protect him really well. They play well. He has an out-of-this-world field goal kicker who helps their offense, bails their offense out. All true. So best case, right? The best version of Dallas and best version of Dak Prescott is it's a really good passing offense. That's what you have. Best case scenario. And that's it. That's all you got. There's not much else for Dallas other than that. Everyone wants to talk about Dak Prescott, but that's all he'll have around him. It's just best case, it's a really good passing offense. Best case, these guys stay healthy and he passes for a lot of yards. That doesn't mean they win a lot of games. They're not built any better than that. And that's best case scenario. They're terrible on defense. They're terrible against the run. They have no run game to help him at all. They have no run game to get inside the 20 and do anything. So whatever they do, it'll have to be best case scenario because it'll be completely on him throughout. And I don't know how that changes in the next 2 to 3 years. So then we're talking about a 35-year-old Dak Prescott who has not been to an NFC championship game. Even if he's out of this world, which he was in 2023, he led the league in touchdown passes. Even if he's out of this world, what's around him to win games? The Cowboys, the problem they would have, best case scenario, and he can go and light it up and they can win a couple games maybe where it's 40-38 or something, or Brandon Aubrey makes 11 field goals. But they can't close. When you can't play defense and you can't run the ball, you can't close. It's hard to close games out. It's hard to kill the game off. When you can't play defense, you can't run the ball. I mean, you're just basically telling, it's sort of like what Washington did a year ago. You're saying, quarterback, you have to be almost perfect and spectacular to carry us. And even then, it's going to be close. And I don't know how that changes next 2 to 3 years. That's what I see the problem with the legacy is. The legacy is going to have a hard time changing in most of your eyes because they're not going to be in a championship game anytime soon because they don't have the elements. If they had a run game, I might change my opinion. If they played better defense, I would certainly change my opinion. They don't. If healthy, this is the way to look. This is going to be the legacy. Unless you think he's going to stick around to his mid to late 30s. But if healthy, I think he puts up big passing numbers. I do. If healthy. He's that good of a passer. But I don't think that translates into big wins. I don't. It's not the way it works. I think he'll end up being a more talented version of Tony Romo. Then you're going to be stuck in the same spot trying to compare the two of them. Like in the end, I think he's going to end up looking like a better passer than Tony Romo. He's going to have bigger numbers than Tony Romo, but the resume is going to end up looking the same. He's the one saying, I don't care about my legacy. I just want to win championships. But your legacy is championships. That is going to be the legacy. No one would argue when healthy, he's a great passer. It's going to be a more talented version of Tony Romo, and then it's going to end up being always the same discussion, almost. He was really good, put up great numbers, but almost. And I don't know that that's fair to judge Dak Prescott that way, but what's around him isn't enough to get him past almost.